owning a home. It's the cornerstone of the Canadian dream. A place to call your own, to raise a family, to build a future. But for many Canadians, that dream is slipping further out of reach. The reality is buying a home in Canada has become a serious challenge. Prices have been climbing faster than wages for years, leaving many feeling priced out of the market. The numbers paint a stark picture. In many Canadian cities, it now takes an average person working full-time years, even decades, to save up for a down payment. This is simply not sustainable. We need to ask ourselves who will be able to afford to buy homes in Canada in the future. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about real people, young families, newcomers to Canada, hardworking individuals who are being priced out of the market. It's about the erosion of the middle class and the growing divide between the haves and have-nots. We need to find solutions. We need to have a serious conversation about affordability in Canada. We need to ensure that home ownership remains a possibility, not a pipe dream for future generations. It wasn't always like this. Rewind a few decades, and the Canadian housing market looked very different. Owning a home was attainable for most Canadians. A steady job was enough to secure a mortgage. Families could buy homes without massive down payments. Home ownership was a realistic goal. What's changed? Factors like wage stagnation and rising prices. Wages haven't kept pace with housing prices. Younger generations face student debt and a competitive job market. Demand has surged due to low interest rates and foreign investment. Limited supply and high demand have pushed prices up. We need to address the root causes of this crisis. Let's talk about the growing gap between what Canadians earn and what it costs to buy a home. House prices have been climbing at a dizzying pace, far outstripping wage growth. Even as Canadians work hard, they are falling further behind in affording a home. It's a frustrating situation many Canadians face today. This isn't just about economics, it's about fairness. Hard work should translate into the ability to afford a home. Let's discuss investors in the Canadian housing market. Investors bring capital and rental housing, but also drive up prices. This makes it harder for first-time buyers to compete. We need a balance to ensure affordable housing. With home ownership becoming increasingly out of reach for many, we're seeing a significant shift in the Canadian housing landscape, the rise of renters. More and more Canadians are finding themselves priced out of the buying market and forced to rent, often for longer periods than they had anticipated. This trend has significant implications. For one, it puts upward pressure on rental prices, making it even more expensive to live in urban centers. Secondly, it creates a generation of Canadians who are building less equity and facing financial insecurity in their later years. Renting is not inherently bad. It offers flexibility and can be a more affordable option in certain circumstances. However, when renting becomes the only viable option for a large segment of the population, It raises concerns about affordability, security, and the long-term financial well-being of Canadians. We need to create a housing market that offers a range of options, both owning and renting, that are affordable and meet the diverse needs of Canadians. In today's superheated housing market, cash is king. We're seeing a growing number of buyers, often wealthy individuals and families, who are able to make all cash offers, bypassing the need for financing and outbidding those who rely on traditional mortgages. This trend is creating an uneven playing field, where those with access to significant wealth have a distinct advantage over those who are still saving for a down payment or relying on borrowed funds. It's a classic case of the rich getting richer while the average Canadian struggles to keep up. This dynamic is particularly challenging for first-time buyers who often have smaller down payments and are competing against seasoned buyers with greater financial resources. It's a discouraging situation that can make the dream of home ownership feel like an impossible feat. We need to find ways to level the playing field and ensure that everyone has a fair shot at buying a home, regardless of their net worth. This could involve exploring policies that discourage excessive speculation and create a more equitable housing market. While the Canadian housing market has been on an upward trajectory for years, there are signs that the tide may be turning. Rising interest rates, coupled with concerns about affordability and overvaluation, are starting to cool the market in some regions. We're seeing a slowdown in price growth in certain areas, and some experts predict that prices may even decline slightly in the coming months or years. This could be welcome news for buyers who have been priced out of the market, but it also creates uncertainty for homeowners who have seen their equity skyrocket in recent years. It's important to note that this potential market shift is not a cause for panic. The Canadian real estate market is fundamentally strong, supported by a growing population, a stable economy, and continued demand for housing. However, it's a reminder that the market is cyclical and what goes up must eventually come down. It's crucial for both buyers and sellers to stay informed, make sound financial decisions, and avoid making rash choices based on short-term market fluctuations. So, where do we go from here? How do we tackle the affordability crisis? It requires a multifaceted approach. We need to build more affordable housing, streamline approvals and incentivize developers, explore co-housing and tiny homes, address demand by discouraging speculation, focus on housing for Canadians, explore innovative financing options, down payment assistance, and rent to own. We need a national conversation. This affects all Canadians. Let's work towards solutions together. The Canadian dream of home ownership is under pressure. Skyrocketing prices, stagnant wages, and a changing economic landscape have made it increasingly difficult for many Canadians to achieve this goal. But it's a dream worth fighting for. Home ownership brings stability, security, and a sense of belonging. It's an investment in our future, both financially and socially. We need to ensure that this dream remains attainable for all Canadians, regardless of their background or income level. By addressing the root causes of the affordability crisis, exploring innovative solutions, and working together, we can create a housing market that works for everyone. Let's keep the dream of homeownership alive for current and future generations of Canadians.